Okay, I was gonna say, don't hear most people say, yeah, that was a cool chest slap, bro.
And we're live.
You don't go to the gym enough.
I really don't. I thought that was obvious, Sean.
How's it going, guys? How's your week's been?
Mine's been busy.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec, but let's do some intros first. Paul, what about you? Anything going on with you?
Nope.
I wanted to ask, what's your guys' game plans for haircuts?
Learn how to use a sword and do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't know what to do.
Aaron's cut my hair before. It's not a big deal.
Okay, yeah. See, my girlfriend buzzes my sides and back, so it's fine. When this gets long, I don't know what'll happen because I usually go to the hairdresser to get the top cut all off.
Oh, okay.
So I need to figure that part out. Not that I'm at the point where I want the haircut, but I was curious what your plans are. John, are you just gonna let it grow, or?
I mean, I guess for now, Reese also has offered to cut my hair in the past, so I may have to take her up on that.
Yeah. It's apparently actually not as hard when you're someone else is doing it. I can't imagine doing it myself. That sounds like a nightmare.
That'd be hard. I have buzzed this like the sides and back of my head. The very first time I did it myself. Not the easiest.
No.
But I feel like if I was using scissors, that would have been even harder. Luckily, I just using the razor.
Totally. Yep.
Kim in the chat's like, John, no, your hair doesn't define you. Rock the sexy long hair. I like the long hair, but I also have naturally light, thin hair because of my genetics. So it gets to a point when it gets too long, it just looks bad everywhere else. So I need the right balance, honestly.
It can be too warm too when it gets to be summer up here.
Also that, yeah. Today was already pretty warm, honestly. I put together some furniture on the patio and it was warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be 23 for the next week or so. I'm stoked.
Damn.
Yeah, I got the fan going on right now. I just turned it on.
We hit 17 today, I think it was.
That's pretty good.
It's dropped a lot now because it was a cloudy day. What is it? The high was 14. It is currently 11. And yesterday's high looked to be 14. Tomorrow's is high of 14, low of 0.
Right on.
And that's pretty much what it is for the next week.
Going back to hair for a sec, though, I had been seeing a lot of people online just doing a quarantine buzz cut. Just buzz the whole thing. Just be screw it. Here we go.
I mean,
yeah. Could you see yourself doing it?
I've done it before. It sucks, but it's doable.
I couldn't do a buzz cut. I could not.
That would be the easiest haircut to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like a buzz cut myself.
No, it sucks.
It's just too round.
Yeah.
You need some kind of definition somewhere. But okay, John, you mentioned a few minutes ago. How did your big weekend of streaming go?
We did Shared Marathon this weekend, and we did it way better than we thought we were going to. Holy shit.
Yeah, you were, if I remember, expecting less donations than any other year.
Yeah. We were expecting a ton less. We were expecting the turnout to be good, but we were expecting donations to be pretty low. And we raised more money than we've done in the past. We set records this year.
Why do you think that is? Because I would have assumed less as well, considering everyone's financials are just tighter right now. Why do you think that is?
It could be because the cause was more pertinent this year, since Direct Relief is helping getting PPE out to everyone.
Oh, okay. More people are oh, I realize this is a serious thing as opposed to just your run of the mill. Oh, there's a new charity thing every week, kind of.
I guess that's the only thing I can think of. I know a lot of the regulars had saved up for this year, so they were just ready to go when that started. There's a couple different things it could be, and it was still surprising no matter what.
How much did you make, and how much was last year? Just so I have an idea of what we're talking about.
Last year's was about 181,000,
which is already nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, and this year's was $231,631 and 69 cents.
Nice.
So yeah, no, we beat our record by 50,000 at least.
Right on.
And
Cool.
we also set our like record for the most money raised on one day out of any of these marathons, including like the other group that does Coliseums. So we were just all like, what is happening?
There's another group that does your charity stream.
So there's two groups that do what are called Coliseums. There's us, so we have the Runaway Guys Coliseum, and then there's a bunch of like speedrunners that do Mario Masters. So Mario Masters Coliseum or Mario Maker Coliseum, depending on which name you want to use. They've used both. But yeah, no, we both raise money for the same charity, so we kind of have a unofficial competition back and forth between each other.
And now you're in the lead.
I guess, yeah, that was unexpected. So
right on. Well, congrats.
Yeah, we still got to do 2 bonus streams. Next week, we're going to be doing both of those. So those will be, we're not going to be raising money during those, but they'll, extra content that people donated for.
As like a donation incentive, you guys were like offering up more streaming.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, nice job. That's very cool. Way to go. So this weekend, you're probably just taking it real simple.
I mean, I'm back to normal now. Like tomorrow, I'm doing a model kit build, and Saturday, I'm doing fortune cookies. So I'm back to the normal schedule otherwise.
Speaking of streams, I was going to show you this video before we went live. Have you guys seen the Fortnite concert thing that's going on right now / this weekend? Which I don't remember the artist's name because
Travis something.
Yeah, I don't listen to hip hop really, so I don't know the man. What was it? Travis Scott. Have you guys seen this stuff? I have a link to a video. I'm gonna share it with you because it honestly makes me want to kind of go play a little bit of Fortnite to see this. This looks so cool. I know we dunk on concerts in video games because it's easy. This looks absolutely bananas.
Whoa. Yeah, that's cool.
That's really weird.
maybe do give like a kind of a word picture for our audio listeners.
Imagine like if you looked up into the sky and you saw a giant hologram of the artist from anywhere in the world, and he was just singing along to a song. There's a huge background, and he can control the way the world works too. So he made like people bounce up into the air with an explosion
on like a bass drop.
Yeah. Imagine like a Hatsune Miku concert on crack, basically.
I do think
it's really well done.
It's very cool, right? I think it's awesome when he like knocks people in the air, and you can see all the other like players on the map kind of also in the air. They're like flying through space and they're underwater at some point. Like, way to go. What a cool way to do like an in-game concert. This is the coolest one I've seen. So if you're listening to the audio version or whatever, or watching the video of this, go check out the Travis Scott Fortnite event happening. There's videos of it, but that is cool. I wanted to bring your guys' attention to that.
That is cool.
Okay, well, let's get into it since we're already talking about games. It's April 23rd. This is the top-down perspective, and I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
John, why don't you tell us what you've been playing?
7 Remake, still at it. Playing
me too.
Very slow. I'm still in Chapter 8. But I've finished all the side quests but one.
You were busy all weekend, so that's understandable.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, if we're counting Coliseum, then I played a lot of games. If we're not counting that, then I really only played 7R.
Yeah.
Which one is Chapter 8 again?
Aerith. We're in Sector 5 slums.
Sector 5 slums.
Okay, so you haven't been to Wall Market yet.
No.
Wow, is that ever a highlight of the game? Holy smokes.
I've heard stories.
So it's not only good from just like a bunch of cool things happen there, but you get the cross-dressing scene, which is just they blown that out of proportion. That's like the most Yakuza thing ever. The dance. Oh my god, the dance.
Very good.
Wow, holy smokes. I want more of that.
I've heard a lot of amazing things about that whole sequence.
Yeah.
So
It's also like
excited.
the only area of the game that is not like gray or brown in color. They actually introduce like some red and golds. It's like it's the most colorful part of the game, which is pretty easy to do because the rest of this game is not a colorful game. But that is definitely the highlight of the game as far as I've gotten to. I just finished what I think is the last side quest. Paul, are there 24 side quests? Or you get more
that you can do in one run, yeah. There's
What is
24 in one run. Because doing one quest a certain way locks off the other ways you can do it. So
right, but
yeah.
Are you talking about in Wall Market?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
But that doesn't count as like a open the map, go to the right. This is
For
a
one
side
run it
quest.
doesn't, but it does count for 100%.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I'm done all the side quests
that you can do.
I'm pretty sure I'm like 5 hours from the end.
Yeah.
Have
you climbed the wall? Because the wall is like 5 hours from the end. Okay. You'll know.
Oh, then maybe I haven't. I just what can I say I just did without being spoilery in any way?
I mean, you finished the side quest in chapter 14. That took me a long time, so that's most of the game.
Yeah.
Roughly. That's a lot of
where the last stash is, there's a whole like underground area.
The sewers,
I just finished that. Yeah, I just finished those sewers. That's where I am.
The sewers are
right
still
now I'm
boring.
trying to do that
so that's cool.
mission that I was talking to you about. It is so hard.
Which one? Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, okay.
That one is hard. That one's pretty hard.
Yeah.
That pull-up challenge, that was hard.
That is difficult.
Holy smokes, I had to do that like I want to say 10 to 20 times I had to try that one.
Yep.
I did not have that much trouble with the squat one.
Sure.
Got the squats pretty fast.
It's because the pull-ups change your button combination halfway through, and it
wasn't even that. I think it's just a harder one because you can't fail. There is no room to fail when you're on like the pro one. If you fail once, he will do more pull-ups than you.
Yeah.
So you just have to make sure. So, and I'm not great at those. I'm constantly hitting like the fatigue where you have to mash, but I just can't get the timing down properly. So I always go a bit slower than they want you to. Because if you go too fast, you'll fall off, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Same with the squat. If you go too fast, you'll fall over. If you go too slow, the character will just stop.
Yeah.
And then it brings on the fatigue. So I'm always going a bit too slow to make sure I'm not, because if you fall off, like you're going to get behind them by at least 10. So it's it's a hard one. It is hard for sure. But that music is so good. When you do the gym challenges, the music is so good. And those boys, they're just so supportive and proud of each other and like happy for everyone who works out. And I love it. It's so great. Yeah, Wall Market is a good time.
Yep.
I'm gonna be sad when this game's over for sure. But Paul, you finished it?
I have.
Nice. Well, if nothing else to say about it, John, what else have you been playing?
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. I figured out like why I was having some gripes with it in the past. That was about it. I realized I've been playing this kind of like Kingdom Hearts more than anything. And with Kingdom Hearts, I never really needed to block or manage other characters, and I think that's the thing that's been kind of hard to get across at times. Because like I had to
block too much myself.
Well, because like Sean, you said you had troubles with the Shiva fight, right?
A little bit, and now I'm on an even harder VR fight.
Yeah. I got the Shiva fight my first time, but I was stupid and didn't go in with fire magic. So it just took a while. But then I got lucky, and I realized I got lucky, and Ifrit was actually on my summon, so Ifrit showed up to save me.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of fights where it is like, if you're not using the right magic, you're gonna have a horrible time.
Yeah,
it is gonna take forever.
I did one of the side quests where you had to fight 3 enemies that can also poison you and put you to sleep, and that was awful. I hated that. It was
Sleep's terrible. Yeah, it's really bad. Also, the poison in this game is really rough. It fucking
the poison in this game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's funny about the poison is, so there's some enemies that will like leave like an area of effect on the ground of poison. So if you step on it, you get poisoned, or you just take damage. And when the match ends, it's still there. And sometimes the NPCs in your party will just be standing on it. And it's like, Barrett, what are you doing? Move. Move. Because there's been a couple times where I've been in like a small area and it's like I can't pull them because I'm against a wall. It's like, stop it, you dumb idiot, get out of the acid.
Yeah, the one thing I realized that I do wish some of like that was part of the fighting, there should be a button to just be like rally, to call all your dudes to your position immediately, because there's some fights where it's just like, well, I couldn't fucking control him, and he was in the thing that I needed him out of.
I wish you could just be like, use your normal attacks against this enemy. Don't use just your ATB stuff. You know, actually just shoot this one.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at last week when I was like, I wish there was some kind of like tactics for your team, like the Tales of games has.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time it's like, Barrett, why are you not always holding down square? There is no reason you should ever not be at least holding down the square button. But I do not see your meter going up. So I'm trying to like get all the weapon proficiencies. And it's like, I have to control these guys because they just aren't attacking enough to use their special attack.
I absolutely hate how little ATB they will build up. That's their way of forcing you to play as the other characters in the same fight. Because they just will not earn ATB.
Yeah.
But like to Paul, you're like, come to me. It would be cool if it was just like, hey, everyone just scatter right now. Just like everyone needs to get away from these enemies. Like just kind of a few moves of like, come to me, spread out, full power, let's go defensive. Like stuff like that would have been pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I think if you said you did the part that you did, you know that there's a fight down there that's just like, I need characters to not be in this area at this moment. It's like,
there are definitely enemies that will turn you into a frog.
Okay, that too. That's just infuriating, though. That's the worst thing in the game.
Also, there's an item you can get where you start the battle as a frog. Why would you ever want to use that?
Probably some achievement tied to it.
Yeah, maybe. But that's just I have like 2 of those, or I have the option to buy it, and I'm always like, what are you even talking about?
The one that like starts you cursed or something. Yeah, it's really dumb.
Yeah. There's ones like that too, for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a reason. But yeah,
I don't think I'm going to do all the battle intel challenges. Specifically,
I spent 11 hours grinding those out. That was some of the funnest.
Is it the magic one?
The magic one, but I also wanted to I don't like playing games where I feel like I'm just at the same level. I like being overpowered for the end. So I was like max level before like the end of the game by a lot.
What is the max level?
50.
50, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one I don't know how many more I'm going to get at the point I'm at.
You should do it. At least.
Oh, should I?
Yeah, it unlocks
because the one I don't. I have everything. I have everything except for the magic one, and that just seems like it'll take forever. And I have the materia that makes it go faster, but like, there's just so much to get through, especially like the revive one. I'm not even like halfway through that, and I've had it the whole game.
The revive one is rough. Being able to fully resurrect somebody with full health though is like really good when you do get it.
Is that what Arise does?
Yeah.
Regen was also a helpful spell to get when
Regen's super good. Yep.
You're gonna have to tell me what it is off stream, so if I can decide, is it actually worth getting?
It's another summon, and it's a very good one.
Okay, yeah, then I know what it is. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that now.
You know,
here
what
I was
summon
being like,
is?
sweet, I only got like 5 hours left, and then I can move on. Oh man.
Because when I saw it, I lost my shit. I was like, holy fuck, this is in the game. I was stoked.
Yeah. What is it? Knights of the Round? It almost makes it sound like it's that.
Oh no, that would be dope.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, that's where the 11 hours when I summoned Knights of the Round once.
Yeah, no, I'm still enjoying it, but man, every now and then I just bump into a quirk, and I'm just like, ugh.
It has made me want to like seriously maybe jump into Yakuza.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking, and John, you're probably a good person to ask. I know Yakuza 0, everyone was saying it was a great jumping on point because it's a prequel and everything like that, but they did remaster 1 with Kiwami, and that's also on Game Pass, and part of me wants to just play them in release order. so that I'm sure when I get to 0, there'll be all these like references I'll pick up on, and that's fun.
Kiwami 1 has references to 0 in it. They added references from 0 in it.
So you recommend just start 0?
Yeah, just start 0.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, maybe I would do that. It's weird that I'm even considering that because usually I play like 1 RPG a year, and I'm already on like my second one, and I'm considering a third.
Yeah.
But that's life in quarantine, so
Yeah, there you go. Play all the long games.
all the long games. All right, for real now though, what else are you playing?
So, speaking of long games, Animal Crossing.
I thought you were done. I thought you beat it and you were like complete, all good.
I had to play it a bunch for Coliseum, so as a result, I'm just like, I'm gonna just keep logging in. Now my current goal is to try to get the 5 remaining fossils I'm missing, and then I'm good for a bit.
Okay.
But then they also had a new patch that came out today, which I haven't touched yet. So
Yeah, we so both Paul as well as he's gonna have like a game that had like a news embedded in it, so we can just kind of talk about that stuff. Animal Crossing new update, which I am absolutely loving. I've been playing it a bunch today. Excuse me. Specifically the what is it? World Day? Is that what it's called?
yeah, Earth Day. Or sorry, no, I think you were actually right with World Day.
No, because Earth Day is the real one,
Mhm.
and I think World Day is the spin-off, and it's till May 4th, so it's actually like kind of 2 weeks of World Day or whatever. But they added Leaf into the game. That was the gardening sloth in the previous games. And he's really great because he gives you bushes and new flowers. But even more exciting is there are now new like World Day specific mile challenges you can do. And after you complete the first one, I think it's 1 a day, Nook gives you the recipe for hedges. So I have all these new ideas for my island, and I've just been going nuts making hedge, like cool little hedge fences around plazas I've made, and all this really cool stuff. I am absolutely loving all of the support they are giving Animal Crossing.
Nice.
Yep. To wrap up the rest of the Animal Crossing news, though, they kind of talked about what the next like couple months of it are going to look like. They also added Red. That was also in the update today. Red shows up on your Plaza 2 alongside with Leaf. Crazy Red is a black market art dealer, which is very funny. They will sell you possibly real or counterfeit pieces of artwork for a lot of money. And the only way to find out if it's real is when you go to donate it to the museum, which the museum is also getting an upgrade to have painting in it, like it did in the old games. Blathers will tell you whether or not it's real. That's always fun. I love that Red docks his ship on the secret island at the secret beach at the back of your island. I find that very funny.
That sucks for me because I had that blocked off.
Oh, why?
Because I thought it was just something useless that was on the back there.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you got to be able to get access to it like once a week or whatever it is.
Damn.
So that's fun. They're adding. Oh, what we're on is Nature Day, I guess. Now that I'm actually looking at the list of stuff, so Nature Day from April 23rd to May 4th. Leaf is going to be there ongoing. He'll be another like weekly shop person that shows up, similar to like Kix or Sahara. They announced the May Day tour, which is May 1st to 7th, which you'll get special Nook tickets to go to special May Day islands. We don't know what's going to be on those special islands, but that's exciting. They showed in the background of there was a video that put out. Rover was on that island, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was the intro character for the first Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
He was on the train and he would ask you like, "Oh, what do you look like? What's your name?" Blah blah blah. So Rover's back. International Museum Day, which they didn't talk much about it. You can fill out like a stamp book by going to in-game exhibits, and then the wedding season is June, where you can set up like photo shoots. So this one sounds the lamest in my opinion. I haven't used Harv's weird creepy island to set up weird photo shoots at all personally. But I'm just glad there's like a lot of events coming forward that I can look forward to with Animal Crossing.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right, Paul, why don't you talk to us about what you played? Because you also had a big update.
I played Mario Maker 2. Giant update.
Ooh.
The final giant update or whatever they're saying.
What the hell,
Only
right?
The final one. They didn't even add in like a new. They said they were going to add in like new themes, and they never did.
It's crazy. So that UI is still garbage because there's still just that empty slot that everybody's like, this is obviously where the new theme's going to go. And nope.
And it even says
empty.
themes, like it's plural.
Yeah.
It's still plural. And they're like, no.
So everybody got debated. That's just not a thing, apparently.
One idea I did see floated was maybe they were really trying to get 2 in there and they just couldn't work for whatever reason. So they're like, well, here's the stuff we did get. We can just make it items for anything.
Yeah, maybe. Or pay DLC is a thing I was thinking, maybe even. This might be their final free update sort of idea. We'll see.
Oh, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
I hope they add more. But what they did add was substantial, so I'll quickly go through it. For everything except for 3D World, the Koopalings are in there, the Koopa Kids. So all 7 are in there now with their own weird quirks on how they control. So
there's a video where it was like Mario running forward, and then like all 8 of them were stacked on top of each other, and he just got rocked. He just could not get through all of that nonsense.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm a little worried about how many boss rush levels there are going to be now, because there's obviously just bosses now. It is kind of cool that there's different mechanics for bosses in the game now. It's not just going to be Boom Boom with wings or Meowser, basically, as the new stuff. Yep. And they're all neat looking. Holy crap, Wendy looks cursed as fuck in Super Mario World, though. I don't know what they did to her sprite, but Mario Maker 2 Wendy for Mario World is cursed as fuck.
I mean, her sprite was really weird in the game to begin with.
It's really bad. So other stuff they added for everything except for 3D World. Mecha Koopas are in the game now, including these weird laser Mecha Koopas and Rocket Koopa. Well, they have rocket propellers at night to make them fly, but they also there's also Mecha Koopas that shoot homing missiles at you, like homing bullet bills. So that's weird. The laser Mecha Koopas are kind of neat, and it's just kind of cool that Mecha Koopas are in the game in general. And then I guess the big one is World Maker. This thing that people have been saying, why aren't you just doing this for a long time, is in the game now, where you can just tie all your levels together in a thing and then share it with people.
Kind of like a themed set. You can't do stuff like extra exits and such.
No,
it's literally just kind of a playlist of levels.
It's a playlist.
So if you can't make if you can't make it in a normal level,
they did add mini games for the overworld, so that's kind of cute.
I saw some cool retro throwbacks to some of the stuff.
One of them is like a catch the ball sort of thing, like a baseball that gets shot out of a cannon at different speeds, or like some of them are like knuckleballs, so they move around all erratically and whatnot. One of them is you blow up a balloon that has a 1-up in it, so you have to like press A to pump it up to blow it up. And then the other one's the match 3. And I think that's it for the mini games.
This sounds right.
And you can kind of like customize your overworld tiles to make it look aesthetically as what you want it. There's 8 worlds you can do with all the different themes that are in the game for levels, are basically in the game for the overworld as well. It's neat. It's cute. Yeah, again, it's just a playlist sort of thing, so it's not like amazing or anything, but it's kind of a cool way to share like a mini game.
I like that you can
somebody.
Customize how the world looks and stuff too. That's fun.
Totally. And then specifically for every game got something updated, if not a bunch of stuff. The smaller stuff, Super Mario Brothers 3 got the frog suit, which is dope as hell, because underwater levels are actually fun now. You can actually control in them, but it's only for Super Mario Brothers 3, which is unfortunate. Also, you can run on the water, which I haven't tried yet.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. It seems to only be when you're holding an item, because that's the only way you can get P-speed. Yeah, super weird. Super Mario World has the P-balloon, which looks shitty. but whatever. Super Mario World's already the best one out of all of them for stuff you can do, so there's not many more gimmicks they can add to it, frankly. So this is fine, I guess. It's a thing you can do. New Super Mario Brothers has the Super Acorn for the squirrel suit, which is like probably one of the better ones that could have done. I'm trying to think of what other stuff you could have done, like maybe the penguin suit would have been dope, but I like the squirrel
like a
suit.
polygonal Mario, like I don't know, the bee suit that was in Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The spring, the rock, there's a couple ones that didn't make it in still.
Yeah. So the squirrel suit, you can glide and then do like a super jump in midair. That refreshes when you land or when you bop an enemy, apparently. So that's kind of neat. And then, of course, the big one is in original Super Mario Brothers, the cursed key. Phanto's in the game.
Oh my god, I can't believe. So that's, yeah, like they basically just put all of Mario 2 in separate.
Yeah, you can pick stuff up, right? Isn't there a special mushroom that just gives you Super Mario Bros. 2 powers?
And I guess Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom is in. That's
what I think is like the big thing outside of like World Maker.
It's definitely one of the biggest things for sure. It changes the game significantly for sure. It changes all the music, first of all, which I like. I like the Super Mario Brothers 2 music a lot, so you can have new tracks in there. And yeah, like you said, anything that you could normally jump on that wouldn't make you take damage, you can pick up, basically, or at least ride. So like you can't pick up pokies, you can't pick up thwomps.
Wait, you can't pick up pokies?
No, you can pick up snow pokies because they have a helmet that you can land safely on.
Weird, because you could pick up pokies in Mario 2.
It is weird, yeah.
That's literally the game they're from.
You just take damage in this one when you try to jump on them to pick them up.
Weird.
Covered in spikes.
Yeah, I guess so. So it's already led to, like, I've been trying to make a level here where you're just picking shit up and then throwing them to do stuff because it's super fun. It's just super weird to get used to in this game, like everything else the first time you played, I guess. So I'm still getting used to the Mario Brothers 2 mushroom, but it's super cool. I really enjoy it quite a bit. And the curse key with Phanto. Phanto is a pain in the ass, but that's what he's there for. Apparently he's unkillable too. You can't like use a star or anything.
Even like he ran away if you had a star basically in Mario 2.
Yeah. And then for 3D World, they got a whole bunch of new stuff. So they got the boomerang flower, which is cool. So you have the boomerang power up now. The cool thing about the
Goomba
boomerang
mask.
The Goomba mask is like the most useless thing. So we'll get to it though.
That one looks fun.
So they have on-off trampoline, and they didn't like make this a big deal, but the bigger deal is that they have on-off blocks now, which nobody said anything about in that direct. But like 1x1 on-off blocks in 3D World is available now, which weren't before. So that's real cool. Way more important, I think, than the trampoline, but whatever. The on-off trampoline is a neat idea. It's cute or whatever. And then they added a whole bunch of masks and helmets and stuff you can use, including the cannon box, the propeller box, the red POW, the Goomba mask, and the bullet bill mask. The cannon box allows you to shoot and like interact with stuff using bullets. Propeller box allows you 3 like swoops up into the air like you were like you had the propeller hat or whatever. The red POW box has 3 uses of you just using a red POW basically by jumping into stuff. The Goomba mask makes you invisible to enemies essentially. It's like stealth mode. Enemies don't attack you with it on. Even if you hit them, like you can attack a Boom Boom with it on, and then like he'll get mad for a second and do his animation, but he won't retaliate against you, which is kind of funny. And like thwomps and stuff will like know you're there, and they'll like get mad, but they won't attack you. They won't like come after you. And then the
I want to
bullet
see
bill.
some like Mario Maker stealth levels.
See, that just sounds boring.
Oh God.
I don't know. I bet some people can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And then the bullet bill mask allows you flight for as long as it lasts. And yeah, I've just been playing around with that. It's been super cool. Mainly the Super Mario Brothers 2 mushroom is like the thing for this one.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
This whole thing is real cool. But hearing it's the final update just seems like such a bummer. Like
It's
it just
super,
puts like this.
yeah, it's super bittersweet.
The game's only been out for a year. Meanwhile,
Not even a year. It came out just after E3 last year.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yep.
And
Weird,
I feel like they
even
barely
Mario Maker 1 got updates for quite a while.
Yeah, and it was getting like routinely like monthly, weekly updates. Like it was getting tons of stuff. This like they barely talked about it, and they just like stealth dropped stuff each time. Like, hey, guess what? Zelda stuff. Here you go. Bye. See you in 3 months.
Yeah, it's weird that they announced this 2 days before it came out too. They're just like, oh, this is coming out in like a day and a half.
Well, I think that's what they did with the Zelda stuff as well.
Yeah,
it was pretty quick. But yeah, just like not a lot of fanfare with it, and it, which is weird because like you look at Animal Crossing, and it's got stuff like every week and for the next 3 months.
Yeah,
There's just and Mario Maker 2 that just kind of left it to dry. I don't know what's going on. It's such a bummer. So much potential. I also wish they would have done more with the search feature. I was hearing people kind of bummed that this final update didn't like actively fix and make the search feature much better and whatnot, and the tag system.
Yep.
Just puzzling all around.
For sure. Yep. So that's a bummer, but also this is a pretty cool update. So it got me back into it, and I'm excited about it. That's it. I mean, I finished off Final Fantasy VII. There's nothing else I can talk about that's not spoiler, so I don't want to.
All right, I talked about a bit of it last week, but I played through all of Savage Planet, and I wanted to play through the DLC, so I played through the DLC. I actually think the DLC is like the weakest part of the game, which is kind of a bummer because I was like, riding high with Savage Planet, and I was like, yeah, more Savage Planet, let's go. And I wasn't a huge fan of the DLC. It definitely seems like something that you would play after the main campaign because it's a lot harder. Which isn't great because there's so many things that can damage you. A lot of the new area is just corrosive, so you take a lot of damage really fast. And then I say that's why you need to kind of go to it second because you need to have all like the health upgrades and stuff, or you'll die pretty quickly. But just making it harder, like combat and damage wise, isn't ideal because that game is pretty slow moving. So putting a bunch of combat encounters wasn't great. The final boss of the DLC was like weirdly cumbersome to do. It's just when they make you have to like do a lot of platforming / combat in this game, that's when it's at its weakest. It is a much it doesn't have the tightest controls for that. So I wasn't a huge fan of the DLCs. If you're playing Savage Planet, I might recommend not buying the DLC. Just enjoy the campaign.
Sure.
But talking about new DLC, Human Fall Flat got an update. So I jumped back into that. Got some good co-op action going on. I never actually had finished it. And we didn't play the rest of the campaign. We just jumped to the new DLC. There had been several DLC updates since I last played. So this week played, what did we do? We did Aztec, Dark, Steam. I think that was it. We didn't do Ice. That's the last one. I think the two new areas are Steam and Ice, or at least those are the most recent new ones. Human Fall Flat is still fantastic. Like that is just a good goofy time that will of course lead to lots of laughs. And yeah, the platforming they require you to do is kind of crazy. But it is a good co-op time. So still having fun with Human Fall Flat.
Cool.
All right, let's do some news.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about this. This was really confusing.
Yeah, this was just kind of like an interesting like how the sausage is made story I was interested in. Fortnite got added to the Google Play Store, and you're probably thinking to yourself, it's already been on Android phones. What's going on? Well, it was on the Android store under its own account, software. It was not part of the Google Play Store, theoretically, because they didn't want to give Google like a 30% cut or however much cut Google takes. I know on the iPhone App Store, Apple takes like a 30% cut of everything. So they just released it as their own thing. This week they released it on the Google Play Store. They're going to be supporting both versions, but they kind of put out a little press release explaining why. I'm just going to read a chunk of it because I think it's just pretty interesting. After 18 months of operating Fortnite on Android outside of the Google Play Store, we've come to a basic realization. Google puts software downloadable outside of Google Play at a disadvantage through technical and business measures such as scary, repetitive security pop-ups for downloaded and updated software, restrictive manufacturer and carrier agreements and dealings, Google Public Relations characterizing third-party software sources as malware, and new efforts such as Google Play Protect to outright block software outside the Google Play Store. So it basically sounds like Google is doing everything it can for you to like not engage with things outside of its store if it is on an Android platform. I'm sure there's good reason. I bet there's actual malware on Android since it's an open platform. But as you can see, things that are clearly totally above board, such as Fortnite, we're still getting like harassed in this way, or that at least people wanting to engage were getting harassed in this way. And so they came out and said, because of that, we flinched and we put it on the Google Play Store. I thought that was just a kind of an interesting business thing that you don't hear about a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of mobile, Danganronpa, the trilogy, is coming to mobile platforms.
Wow, it's still not on the Switch.
Still not on the Switch. No news on that, but they said to kick off the 10th anniversary, they're putting all three are coming to mobile. They didn't say when, how, where, how much, anything like that. But as someone who likes gaming on my phone, I will definitely, this is probably how I will end up playing some of those games.
Sure.
Makes sense.
The My Nintendo app launched in Japan. Okay. Which this will basically, allow you to access your account, purchase games, engage with your Switch by like seeing play history and activity logs and stuff like that. Kind of interesting. Currently in Japan, so I'd have to assume it's going to come to the States, or I should say the Western territories at some point. But that's cool. Maybe they'll make the Switch app better one day. Probably not. We talked about those two updates for Animal Crossing and Mario Maker, and then this last bit of news I have is GeForce announcing that Xbox Game Studio titles and Warner Brothers titles will be getting removed and no longer part of the service.
This makes sense for Xbox for sure.
It makes total sense for Xbox with Project xCloud. I'm curious about Warner Brothers. I don't know if they clearly have some dealings. I know Warner Brothers games have been on Game Pass, so maybe they had some stuff with Microsoft, or they have something else upcoming. Who knows?
I'm sure they're on a service. They have a contract or something with another service.
Clearly they have some kind of contract. Yeah,
for sure.
But just another two publishers that are out, and GeForce Now continues to slowly dry up. At this point, I'm kind of curious to see what the long tail of GeForce Now will be.
Yeah.
And that's what I got for the news. Quick segment this week. But let's do some questions. If you want to send in a question, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. This first one comes from Hebrew Lantern and says, "How do you hold a pencil?"
This is a reference to Coliseum on the Weekend.
Oh, okay.
Because
so what's the joke here?
I was asked to draw during one of the segments, so I walked up and said, "All right, so how do you hold a pencil?"
Oh,
that's it. That's the joke.
I thought it was going to be something like, because do you put it over top of your middle finger or your ring finger kind of thing? People hold pencils differently.
Yeah. Hang on, I got a pencil. Let's just do an actual example.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a pencil.
This is how I hold a pencil.
Same. I hold it the exact same as John.
So I do it on the ring finger.
Okay.
So you do it like this?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Boko. Now that Final Fantasy VII Remake has been out for a bit, How do you feel about some older Final Fantasy games or Square RPGs, Chrono Trigger, etc., being remade in the style? Personally, I'd be okay with a FF6 remake in the style, but I feel like FF4 wouldn't work quite well with it.
I feel like Final Fantasy 4, I kind of agree with him, the versus 6 versus 4, because 4's classes are all like very traditional fantasy, like, you know, swords and magic. But 6 had a lot more variety and craziness because like you had machinists and stuff like that, so that could work a bit better. Plus the storyline also would work since there's really just 2 worlds you need to build. I would love a Chrono Trigger.
I'm gonna say Chrono
Dude.
Trigger that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of of the mind of like I like the 7 remake so much. Like remake whatever you want.
All
like
of
this.
them.
Clearly,
Yeah.
it looks great and it's fun. Like
Yeah.
this game doesn't really play like 7. They kind of took a lot of liberties and changed things up. I'm assuming they would do that with 4 as well. I actually really like 4. The little bit I can remember, but I remember being a big fan of 4. But I think definitely Chrono Trigger for sure.
Yeah, I feel like the tech system would work really good in that style of gameplay.
I think it would just be cool seeing like your party moving around, like fighting with Frog.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing
Yeah.
him in action, you know, in like real time while you're fighting and whatnot. That would be cool.
Yep.
What I would also like is all of the 7 remake to be out.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Dude, yes.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to see anything of any other the classic RPGs for a long time.
I'm curious if episode 2 or whatever it will take as long, or like do they have a solid foundation now that they'll kind of pick up the pace on them? Like we did the hard part. Here we go.
What I'm curious about is how are they going to do, like there's no way they can connect the two, right? Because at this point there's no way it's going to still be on PS4. It's going to be PS5.
For sure. I mean, you could just have your save, I'm sure, like tied to your PSN account.
Oh yeah, that could probably work.
And then there's all the talkings of like, you know, if you buy it like digitally, will you get it on the next one? You know, we don't know how those will work, so there might be something with that as well. But would you just start at like 50 again? Like at level 50 if you got there?
That's what I'm wondering
like
because I'm maxed out right now on everything. Like I can't.
But with how much of the game is left, like starting that at 50 seems crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna get to like level like what 300 by the end of this story.
Well, probably 100 and something at least. But like the fact that I already have like the 3 tiers of every spell, how's that gonna work for the next half? Where it's like, yeah, I already have max materia for everything. So I guess I don't need to pick up any more ever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is super weird. I don't know. My girlfriend was asking me because she's really enjoying watching 7. And I was like, well, this is actually only part 1. And she's like, oh, so like if you're almost done, how long do we have to wait for the next one? Is it like, is it like Life is Strange where there'll be one in like 2 months? And I was like, oh no.
You poor child.
It's gonna be like 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is like this game it's pretty like narrow in terms of like the actual scope of the areas you're going to. They're all just hallways. Like there is no open world. The next area, there's an entire open world. That's a lot more work than a narrow hallway.
I have a feeling they're not going to do an open world. I think they're going to tailor when you go where because of what you're saying.
You think so?
I think so. I think this is going to be a tailored experience.
I unlocked the fast travel, and it made me kind of realize how small this game is. Like when I saw the whole thing on the map, I was like, wow, really? That was 20 hours? That's nothing. I think I could run that in like 5 minutes if I just ran from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Who knows? Lots of questions.
Yeah. Chrono Trigger, though. They should remake that. For sure.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. VGC Kenny writes in and says, have you ever done something that resulted in a rule getting created? When I was in high school for lunch, they had a buffet style thing where you could grab what you wanted, but you had a limit. One day I decided that for one of my sides, I would get a bowl of pickles, and that was allowed. Soon after, I saw other people doing it. Eventually, pickles were limited to Tuesdays and Thursdays because so many people were just getting bowls of pickles.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Technically,
pickles.
I think I'm the reason that my junior high didn't allow people on the roof anymore. So
Mm,
You got
Okay.
to share that story. Did you fall off it?
it's not much of a story. There was a built like a classroom was underneath our window in my grade 8 class. So as a result, if you went out the window in our classroom, you would be on top of another classroom. And some
Okay.
people were hopping in and out of that just for fun, but not getting caught. And then I convinced the bully in my class to throw something out the window, so I had to go out and get it because I just wanted an excuse to get on the roof. And then, of course, the second I got on the roof, the principal was at a window and saw me. So I got,
Damn.
I got called in and given detention. The only detention I ever got, but unfortunately, that was also the school my mom worked at, so it did not go over well.
yeah.
I couldn't think of an answer. Paul,
Yeah.
do you have anything?
I can't think of one either. No.
Yeah, I don't got one off the top of my head. No. Rasterman writes, "How bad of an idea is a hula hoop controller? What games could be adapted to make it work somehow?"
Not that bad of an idea, frankly.
I don't think that's that bad.
It's
of
really
an
not that
idea.
bad of an idea.
I don't think so. I mean,
I'm almost surprised Ring Fit doesn't use it.
That's a pretty small ring. I understand, though, isn't it? Like,
No, I mean like just like a little add-on where you could just do something like that.
sure. I think space-wise, it might be kind of hard. I don't know how many people have space for hula hooping in their like apartments and whatnot. I know I would be uncomfortable doing that like in front of my TV. Like that's just asking to destroy something.
Sure. I mean, it would obviously come with a hula hoop game of some sort, but he's saying what games could be adapted to make it work. So that's the hard part. Like any fitness game, you could probably put something in there.
Like a hula hoop mode, yeah, like Ring Fit easily, or I think like there could definitely be like a Dance Central thing.
Sure, yeah. Just Dance Central, something like that could do something.
I can't think of many like regular games. Like, isn't it be like hula hoop to make the car drive fast in Need for Speed?
Yeah, I mean, you'll still, no matter what you do, there'll be a hacker that like beats Dark Souls 3 with it.
With a hula hoop, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Somebody did that with Ring Fit. He didn't stop moving if like he stopped moving in real life. So by the end,
didn't he do it with like a banana too? I feel like everyone beats Dark Souls with the weirdest shit.
Exactly. So this is just another Dark Souls idea waiting to happen.
I'm just trying to think, like, how many different ways can you interact with a hula hoop besides like hula-ing it? You could like lift it up. All I can think is like Ring Fit kind of stuff, where you like lift it up or lift it to the side. And I don't.
Yeah. Linebeck says, I was recently playing Super Paper Mario, not having a good time. People kept telling me it got better, but eventually I had enough. It got me wondering, how long are you willing to stick out a game if people tell you that it gets better eventually?
It depends on the time length of the game in general. Like if someone tells me it's a 5-hour game, but the last hour is amazing, I might stick that out. Okay. But like Final Fantasy 13, I think is the best example. People kept saying like when you get to the
you have to get
world
20 hours in the game. It's like fuck.
Yeah, but it's 20 hours in. It's just like why? That's way too much. I would probably say 3 hours, probably my cutoff. And I think that's the only example I have of that is I think that's how long it roughly took Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1 to get good. Yeah, that's probably my cutoff.
That's pretty generous too, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say honestly, 3 hours. I don't know if I could do 3 hours.
I mean, like I said, that's why it depends on the scale of the game. If it's like 3 hours of like a 50-hour game, then yeah, that sounds like a good trade-off.
Sure.
But if it's 3 hours of a 4-hour game,
Well, well, I'm trying to think like, okay, on average, let's say the game is 15 hours long.
Okay.
How much time will you give it?
I would probably give it the 3 hours.
3 hours.
That's still 80% of the game. That's still 80% of the game that's good.
Okay.
My general rule is that by the time the quote unquote tutorial is done, like when I have a good idea of what the mechanics are going to be, if I'm not having fun, it's going off. Because if I like...
So Animal Crossing.
So like an hour, maybe, for most games, I would say. Maybe an hour. Probably
I feel like
hour or 10.
It's hard I don't know if I could like make a rule.
No, it's a game by game basis for sure.
Oh, for sure, game by game basis. It depends on a lot of things of like how many people are saying it gets amazing. Like, do I really need to just like muscle through this because like everyone is like, you got to do it, or is it just one dude who's like, no, listen to me, man, you and me right here, you got to do it. Then I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Right.
I think another factor is like, what else I got going on right now? Am I playing 8 other games?
Sure. Yeah.
Do I have access to Game Pass? Am I allowed to leave my house?
Right.
These are all factors I need to take into consideration. Because if the answer is yes to a lot of those, then the number of hours I'm putting into that game has definitely gone down. Because it's like, well, I could be having no fun, or I could go enjoy a tree, or the grass.
Yep.
One tree.
I could hug my friend who I haven't seen in 3 months.
Yeah. And then conversely, it's like if you're gone and you have a Switch, maybe that game's looking kind of okay right now and you'll give it another shot.
That's another good point. Yeah, like, do I have more access to it? Like, can I just play this on the train? That's a good idea. Because I know that's opened up a lot of RPGs for me. It's like, there's no way I can do an RPG, but I got a lot of train time. Maybe I can do an RPG.
Yep.
Next one comes to us from VGC Kenny again. Why does iTunes recommend a bunch of different podcasts about the English language as the you might also like for top-down perspective?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't want to say I looked into this, but I looked at top-down perspective on iTunes, which I rarely do, and it's true. All of them are like that. I feel like in the past I've looked at that and it was like other video game podcasts, and that made sense to me. I have no idea why this is the case. I figured that was based on like what you guys are listening to, so it's your fault. But like, these podcasts don't look very interesting. Why are you guys looking at those? Why are you listening to those? I don't know. I want to say something broke. I don't know. I have no good answer. Heber Lantern writes, what is your most played album? If it isn't your favorite, what is your favorite album?
Oh, most played?
I'm definitely in the camp of like, my most played are not my favorite. And it's probably because the first few CDs I got were probably on repeat quite a bit. Because I didn't have access to like internet audio. And it was like the only album I have. So I've listened to like Blink-182's Dude Ranch way more than that specific album or any of their like other albums. And that is definitely not one of their best albums for sure. But that was just like the first Blink-182 album I got. So I was like, yeah, this is great.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say the same. Look at my iTunes. Like, my most played album is definitely not the album I would say is my favorite. I would probably say my favorite album is The Resignation by the RX Bandits or Astro Lounge by Smash Mouth. Those are both pretty strong albums, honestly.
Okay. Most played has to be Gorillaz, even though I like Demon Days more. Deltron 3030 played a lot. Favorite albums probably like Downward Spiral.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's probably not.
I think my actual most played is Discovery by Daft Punk. So
okay,
solid.
One Press L2P says, is there any mainline game which took a major shift in genre from its series, Star Fox Adventures, Metal Gear Rising, etc., that you feel gets unfair criticism for being the odd one out, as it were, since it doesn't fit in with the rest of the games in the series, but is actually a good game in its own right? Unfair criticism.
I go to
Star Fox Adventures, definitely.
I'm not a huge fan of Adventures. I like Assault a lot, though. I played a lot of Assault.
Assault was good.
But that also may have been because my friends and I really enjoyed the multiplayer.
Yeah.
So we played a lot of the multiplayer. The one I always go to, and I'm starting to question it because I'm getting so far removed from it, though, is Kirby Air Ride.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder, like, is that actually a good game, or was I just stupid and young? And it was Kirby on, like, a hoverboard, basically.
Shift series.
I can't think of a good answer for this, honestly.
People are saying Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. That's a good game.
Actually, yeah, no, that game's fun. I would
That's-
definitely say that.
That's the one I like. I hate the other ones. So yeah, that.
Okay.
Probably my answer.
I also mentioned
Yeah.
Yakuza 7. Yakuza 7 does look and sound cool.
Yeah, but it's not out over here yet, so I feel that might be an unfair comparison at the moment.
I also feel like it's not that different. It just seems to be a different like battle style. Tonally, it seems exactly the same.
Yeah. Me again.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Ooh,
Although that is, no one
actually.
says that's bad, but that's another one that was like, here's something brand new, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give you that. Dead Sky says, what is the anti-podcasting game? A video game where if someone told you they played it with tunes or the radio on in the background, you would think they're nuts. Rock Band.
Yeah, any of those games.
So that
Guitar
was my
Hero,
thing
Rock
of
Band.
like, yeah, it's gonna be those rhythm games like Guitar Hero and DJ Hero. I did that though, because sometimes
sure.
you're like, yo, I need to get that achievement for 5-starring every single song on Medium, and this is mind numbing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to a podcast and just hit the buttons in time for the next 3 hours.
Yep. Very
But
true.
I do understand that I'm a weirdo for doing that. I'm trying to think of other ones that like the audio is like key to it. I wouldn't do that with the Final Fantasy VII remake. I feel like that would be a disservice because I just think that soundtrack is so good.
Okay, but let me put it this way. When you're spending 11 hours in the arena grinding out levels, would you change your mind?
I haven't got to that yet. Is that the spot where you have to grind the arena? That's what my guess
I mean,
was.
you don't have to, but I kind of wanted to. Honestly, I lost track of time listening to podcasts. I didn't realize I went for that long. I used it as a way to catch up on videos and podcasts that I had been putting off for a long time.
And I could use one of those. Like my podcast listening is down since the quarantine.
The Quiet Man.
Well, but are you doing playthrough 1 or 2? Because when they add in that audio, man, is it important.
As somebody who can't stand just having silence usually, and usually multitasking, I wouldn't blame anybody for listening to something else while they're playing a game, even if both were like full volume. Honestly, I understand it. I can, like, right now I'm watching another video while we're podcasting and the side view here. Like,
do you guys, can you do that for like puzzle games, or does it throw off the concentration? Like when you play Picross?
That's why I play Picross.
I turn on music all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when I was doing Picross, I usually can't do a podcast because I'll notice that I'm not listening to the podcast, and it's like, why am I doing both of these? I clearly cannot do both at the same time.
Oh, weird. Yeah, no, I usually have to be doing something. So, like, when I'm listening to a podcast, so Picross is perfect because I barely think when playing Picross.
Is it my turn or John's?
John just read it.
Okay, then it's me with Lucas, who writes the last question. How many controllers do you buy for each system you own, excluding backups like you may have for the NES? I'm assuming he means like in case something breaks, like I have a sealed one. Yeah. So excluding stuff like that, I guess ones that you routinely use. Do you buy them once the system comes out, or over time for newer consoles? Do you want the colors to match, or do you want the controllers all to have to be different?
I have one for every system.
Yeah, I like getting different ones if I can.
Different colors for sure. It's like another black one. No, I want to have fun and get fun colors. I don't think I ever buy a second controller at launch.
No.
I did that for one of the systems I got that was multiplayer focused. That was about it.
Sure, that makes sense.
I feel like I usually like barely ever go out of my way to get a second controller unless I like need it. I'm usually like, if I'm gonna do some like local multiplayer, it's like, hey, bring your own controller over. Like I don't have a second one. I can rarely ever justify like $60-$70 for a controller that might get used like one evening by my girlfriend like every 4 months.
Yeah.
See, like I feel like I am the opposite. Like I would plan in case Reese wanted to play with me, or if someone else wanted to come over, I would bite the bullet on that. But yeah,
Sure.
controllers are getting way too expensive. You are correct on that.
Yeah, like the Pro controller on the Switch is insane. I could
Yeah.
barely justify that. I like that purchase. It's a good controller, but it took me forever to get one because it was like I technically do not need this. I have the Joy-Cons. I can put them in the grip. This is
Yeah.
purely luxury.
Yeah.
That's actually what I've started kind of putting them towards, like Christmas gifts from my parents, because it's like, look, I don't need this. I have no reason to buy this, but you keep wanting to get me something, and I don't have much of a Christmas list to give you guys. So here's the chance. Here's something I would not buy for myself. Get me a fun colored controller.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
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 It's harder to justify in this day and age where you can use the same controller for multiple things too. So like my PS4 controller is my second controller for Switch, my controller for computer, and for the Steam Link as well. So like
Yeah, I have the same thing with my Xbox controllers.
It's going to be interesting when the next consoles come, when you can use the old controllers with them.
Yeah.
Like it'll be the first time I have, because we're going to get one in the box. So it'll be the first time I have like 3 Xbox controllers at launch for the console. Like,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
All right. That's it for questions. If you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What is your game of the week, boys?
7R.
I'll say 7 as well.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to 7. I had quite a bit of fun this week with that. Things to keep in mind. Today is the last night you can vote in May's TDP Plus poll. So if you're a Patreon, go over there and vote on what we're going to play. And also our current game, Jimmy and the Pulsating Mask. The episode will be next Thursday or so, next week. So get excited for that.
I won't be available. We're going to have to talk about changing the date because I'm not available Thursday. But yes, it will be next week.
Okay.
Good to know. It'll be sometime next week. All right. We'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Later.